Welcome students. In our previous class, we learnt about the 4 divisions of microorganisms, that is the bacteria, virus, algae and fungi. Today, let us learn about the 5th division, protozoa. The study of protozoa is called as protozoology, and these are protozoology. These are unicellular organisms, and they are found especially in ponds and moist soil, and they belong to kingdom Protista. An example you can take Euglena, Paramecium, Plasmodium, Amoeba, etc. And here in protozoa there are mainly 4 divisions. The first division will be ciliate, and the second one will be flagellate, third one pseudopods, and the last one will be sporozoan. The first one, ciliate. Ciliates are those which contain cilia, which helps in locomotion. Example for that you can take it as Paramecium. And the second one, flagellate. They contain flagella which helps in locomotion. Example will be Euglena. And pseudopods will be, pseudopodia is present in them which helps in locomotion. Example, amoeba. And the last one, sporozoan, is a parasite, and here you can take Plasmodium as the example. Today, let us learn about amoeba in detail. When you take amoeba, amoeba are unicellular organisms, and they have irregular shape. They don't have a proper shape. They are irregularly shaped, and outermost cell membrane is present. And inner to that you have nucleus present, and you also have pseudopods, pseudopodia. As they belong to pseudopods, they have pseudopodia. This pseudopodia is nothing but false leg, with the help of which the amoeba moves. And they also have food vacuole in them. And nutrition is very simple, that is, they just engulf the food as it is. And excretion is by means of contractile vacuole. Contractile vacuole, and reproduction is by means of fission. That's all about amoeba. And next we'll do in detail about uses of microorganisms. When we are talking about the uses of microorganisms, it is broadly classified into 4 divisions. The first division will be medicine. How microorganisms are used in the field of medicine. Here the first topic that we are going to do is antibiotics. It was in 1929 the first antibiotic, penicillin, was discovered. Sir Alexander Fleming was the first person to discover penicillin for the first time, and he discovered this penicillin from the fungus. The fungus name is Penicillium chrysogenum. Penicillin is used in the treatment of diseases like diphtheria and tetanus, and we also have streptomycin, which is another form of penicillin which is used in the treatment of plague. Next, we will move on to the next topic, vaccines. Vaccines are prepared from dead or weakened microorganisms. And the term vaccination was coined by Edward Jenner. And Edward Jenner was the first person to find out or discover the smallpox vaccine. When this vaccine is injected into the body of the person, antibodies will be generated. These antibodies fight against the disease causing germs. Not only does that, antibiotics not only does that, it also remains within the body of the person, and in future it prevents any future invasion of the germs. That's why we call this vaccination, otherwise we call it as immunization. And example you can take MMR vaccine. This MMR vaccine is given in order to protect a person from measles, mumps and rubella. Similarly, BCG vaccine is given for tuberculosis, the Bacille, Calmette, Guerin. It is given to protect a person from tuberculosis. That's all about medicine. Next we will go to agriculture. In the field of agriculture, the first one will be natural fertilizer. Microorganisms are also called as decomposers. Why? Because they act upon the dead decaying matter. When they act upon the dead decaying matter, they convert them into nitrates and inorganic nutrients. These nitrates and inorganic nutrients that are left back in the soil are very, very important for the growth of the plant. So, the compost that is left behind, you call that as natural fertilizer. And the second one will be nitrogen fixation. When we are talking about nitrogen fixation, it is a bacteria which is named as Rhizobium, which is present in the root nodules of the leguminous plants, that helps in nitrogen fixation. This bacteria directly fixes the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates, and we already know that nitrates are very, very essential for the growth of the plant. So, direct nitrogen fixation is aided by Rhizobium. And the third one will be control agents. Biocontrol agents. Microorganisms also function as biocontrol agents. That is, here, what are these biocontrol agents? Biocontrol agents are those which help the plant in protecting itself from the disease causing germs. Okay, the first one will be trichoderma. This trichoderma is a fungus which helps the plant, especially the plant roots, to get protected from plant pathogens. And the second one will be Bacillus thuringiensis. This protects the plant from major diseases. And the third one will be in the field of industry. First one will be sewage treatment. In sewage treatment, especially a kind of bacteria which is called as Nitrobacter is useful in sewage treatment. What does this Nitrobacter do? This Nitrobacter feeds on the organic matter which is present in sewage, and it consumes that, and because of that the sewage is rendered clean. That is the first point in industry, that is sewage treatment. And second one will be production of biogas. Anaerobic bacteria act upon the animal waste and the plant waste. When they act upon them, they convert them into methane, carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Those which produce, that is, those bacteria which produce methane are called as methanogens. They are called as methanogens. The next one will be production of alcohol. Especially yeast is very much useful in the production of alcohol. How yeast is helpful, let us see. By the fermentation of yeast, especially the sugar in grapes, it is getting fermented to alcohol. So, and the last point will be and useful in tannery or tanning industry and retting. Let us see how it is useful in tanning industry. In tanning industry, the skin of the animals are taken and that is rendered to the treatment of bacteria. When bacteria acts upon that, what happens is the skin is made soft and pliable and the skin of the animals is converted to leather. And next one will be retting. Let us see what this retting is. Retting is you are taking flax plants as such, making into a bundle and dipping it in water. The bacteria which is present, it acts upon the plant tissues and it loosens the plant fibers. Because of that, it is rendered very soft, and this process is called as retting. Because of this process only, from the flax fibers you are able to get linen thread. That's all about tanning and retting. Next field will be day-to-day life. How microorganisms are used in day-to-day life. First one, making of bread. Making of bread and cakes. Let us see how it is made. You are taking dough. This yeast, especially yeast, acts upon this dough. When this dough is acted upon by the yeast, more of carbon dioxide is produced. When more carbon dioxide is produced, the dough is raised, and because of the raising of the dough, the cakes and bread are made very soft. And the second will be preparation of curd and cottage cheese. What's happening here? Lactobacillus is a bacteria which acts upon the milk. When milk is acted upon by lactobacillus, the lactose which is present in the milk, that is getting converted into lactic acid. That means milk is turning sour or milk is converted to curd. This curd, when it is processed, it is converted into cottage cheese. And the next one will be intestine, in human intestine. Let us see what's happening in human intestine. In human intestine, some bacteria are present. These bacteria help in the protection of not only the protection of the intestine against some harmful bacteria, it also helps in digestion. That's all about day-to-day life. Okay, till now we have learnt about the uses of microorganisms. But microorganisms are also harmful. Let us see how microorganisms are harmful and how they cause diseases in plants, animals and human beings. They cause diseases especially in plants and the diseases, let us see mainly the diseases alone. The diseases caused by them will be citrus canker, and the second one will be potato blight disease. This citrus canker is mainly found in citrus fruits and potato blight disease in potato. Next, let us see the diseases caused in animals. In animals, it causes foot and mouth disease. And second one, anthrax. These are the two main diseases which are caused in animals by microorganisms. This anthrax is not only caused in cattle, it is also caused in human beings. Next will be what are the diseases caused in human beings. Microorganisms, especially virus, plays an important role in causing very many diseases in human beings. Let us see a few examples. The first one, virus causes common cold, rabies, meningitis, etc. And bacteria. Bacteria causes cholera, tuberculosis, etc. And next one, protozoa. Protozoa causes malaria. Malaria is actually caused by Plasmodium. Plasmodium is a protozoan. Then amoebic dysentery is also yet another disease which is caused in human beings by protozoans. That's all about the diseases which are caused by human beings. Next we will see how these microorganisms are useful in food processing. The first one we are going to learn is pickling. Let us see what this pickling is. In pickling, you are taking the food, whatever food material may be, you are taking that food and you are dipping it, that is completely immersing in an edible antimicrobial solution. This prevents the further growth of any microbes. Okay? That is called as pickling, and in pickling you have two types of pickling. First one will be chemical pickling, second one will be fermentation pickling. This chemical pickling is nothing but you are immersing the foodstuff in a solution of vinegar, that is in vinegar you are immersing it. This vinegar helps in prevents the growth of further microbes in it. Next, coming to fermentation, again the foodstuff are immersed in a solution in which lactic acid will be generated. This lactic acid prevents the growth of other microbes and it also preserves the food. That is the fermentation pickling. The second one will be sugaring. Sugaring is mainly done for fruits, especially if you want to protect the fruits, or that is you want to preserve the fruits for a longer period. Fruits are taken, excess of sugar is added, they are made into crystallized form and they have to be stored. In this case, it has to be stored in clean containers in very cool temperatures. Then you can store it for a longer period. And the next one will be boiling. Especially liquids like water, milk, etc. When it is boiled to very high temperatures, the microorganisms which are present in milk or water are totally destroyed. And the last one will be pasteurization. In pasteurization, especially pasteurization is done for milk. Milk is heated to 72 degrees centigrade. When it is heated to 72 degrees centigrade, all the microorganisms are destroyed here. Immediately it has to be cooled to 10 degrees centigrade. When it is cooled to 10 degrees centigrade, further growth of any bacteria is prevented and it has to be stored at the same temperature in sterile containers. By that process, this process is called as pasteurization, and the name is pasteurization, the name it is getting because it was discovered by a scientist, Pasteur. By that we complete the portions microorganisms. Thank you, children.